back in time.
I feel like that should be a dance.
Can you imagine?
Are all the cameras on? Oh, is everything on?
Yes.
Oh, do you want to get the singing out of your system now?
No.
The minute you walk through. It's a whole...
I'm pretty sure they are.
What episode is this? Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
In my mind, gotta get right to the point. Hi everybody and welcome to episode 4 of Nights at the Round Table. Today we are discussing the book Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind. This is a book about a young woods guide named Richard who gets entangled in all sorts of terrible things after saving a young woman's life. So, I'll start with general impressions of the book. Who wants to go first?
Oh, I enjoyed it the first time I read it years ago. We picked it up as a camping read because it was nice and thick.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And it just sucked us right into it. It's just a really good journey. It's a really, those romantic coming-of-age stories. Lovely.
They're one of those romantic coming-of-age stories with torture and rape.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Such a lovely read.
This is the first time I've actually picked up this book. It's one of the books that I've been intending to read for a really long time. It's my brother's book. I don't even actually own it myself, so I'm like, can I borrow your book so I can do a book review? And my brother's like, sure, go for it. So I started reading it, and I'm not quite done the book, but I'm really enjoying the story. It's really gripping. It really takes you in, and you start to read faster, I find, going through. And I like the way the story is putting itself together. It doesn't throw too much at you all at once. It kind of brings it in slowly, and all of the new characters and all of the different things that are about to happen, and you're learning at the same time that the main character is, and I love it. So I'm really excited.
I loved this book as well. This is my first read through of this book, and actually I hadn't heard much about it before it was pulled from the bowl, which is really weird because I'm usually up on my fantasy, but it was a great book. It is a fairly dark story. It's written relatively simply, so it's easy to get into, but the story is quite dark. So style of writing would put it for anybody 13 and up, but the actual subject matter I think would be more suitable for a little older, 16, 17, 18 and up. It was a great story. There were a few things that not so much irked me, but that were obvious about the book, which would have been nicer if they had made it more of a surprise. I'm speaking specifically about, what's his name, Michael? Richard's brother?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, well,
Every Disney movie.
Well,
Needs
yes.
an obvious villain, right?
Well, they already had the obvious villain. It would have been nice to have one that wasn't quite so obvious. Especially since the character himself was taken by surprise. So much by surprise. I speak English. Jeez.
Author, aren't you?
Yeah, or something. This is why I have editors. It was a great book. I did really like it. Dark story, which is probably why I really liked it.
Yeah, I think that does add a huge element to the story. I find as I go through, sometimes I'm sitting there going, oh, this is horrifying. Like, for example, when you switch over to the boy. The boy that...
that's been buried neck deep in the magic zone?
Carl.
Carl,
yes. And when he first comes into the room, the images that you have of what's going to happen to him are nowhere close to what happens. And I was like, didn't see that coming. Whereas some of before, I'm like, okay, I know this person is going to end up in this role. This person is probably going to be this. And some of the stuff was very easy, and some of it came out of total left field. And that was one of those moments where I'm like, oh my god, this poor boy is going to be raped or something horrible. And then
turns out it was horrible, just not rape.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes, he wasn't touched.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He was kept here. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
funny because it is a very dark story, and because this was my second time reading it through, it was just more to refresh my memory. I knew a lot of the things, but I had forgotten the smaller details, and so those reminders of those moments of, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the same time, just kind of floating above all that. I found some of it was very obvious, but I mean, still, it was relatable character development.
Yes.
And so it was really easy to connect with almost every, aspects of almost every character, even the villain, because you think, well, okay, this is what he went through. I mean, I'm, older now than when I first read it, so I would have been approaching life differently then, and approaching life now, it's like, well, yeah, there's a reason why he is this way. This is how he was molded. This was how his life brought him to this point, and so it's it's
No,
really
I agree. About the relatable character development, the romance between Richard and Cullen. At first, I was like, oh, really?
Yeah, I knew you would do
But about halfway through the book, it became really believable. I totally bought that romance, and it was actually quite sweet in many places. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I knew it was going to work out in the end because they
Disney
always
movie.
do.
Yeah. Sorry, Disney.
But everything up until that point was like, just the feelings, all the feels. So I bought it, and it's very rare for me to buy romance in novels, especially when they start out so obviously going to happen.
Right. Right. Zed and Addie. That was fun.
Oh, that was cute, wasn't it? That was so adorable.
Yeah.
So,
Have you reached there yet? Have you met
no,
the
I'm
sorceress?
just.
Oh, okay. You've got a lot to look forward to.
Just at the point where she was like, "Oh God, we have to go see the witch," like right after he does the ceremony with the mud people.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you're. Oh, yeah.
So she's like, "Oh God, we can't do this," and I'm like, "Oh, this can't be good," because of all the things that have happened so far. But I mean,
so much of a roller coaster to go on. Still.
Oh, go yes.
yeah. And it's kind of weird for me because I've just sort of like hit the point where we're talking about the princess and the girl, and
Rachel.
she wants to go out and go talk to the doll.
The creepy ass doll.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird, and I'm dreading some of this just because of a D&D campaign, which I'm not going to get into, but there was a scenario with a child that just, my character was horrified, and playing that out was fun. But and that's what I mean by sometimes the book comes at you out of total left field, like you're expecting to follow the main characters and you're trying to follow where the wizard is coming in, and okay, he's better now, so now they're going to reconnect again, and then who is this queen, what is this princess doing, and what the hell just happened?
She gets it in the end.
Oh, doesn't she just?
Good. I'm glad.
You know what? I have never.
I shouldn't relate to it in such a positive way.
I have never cheered somebody kicking a little girl in the mouth so hard.
Another reason why we don't touch children.
Yes! All of us, by the way.
But yeah, when that happened, I was like, yes!
Promise kept.
Little
Yes, promise made, promise kept.
Yeah.
Good. I look forward to that. Yes.
But speaking of Rachel and Violet, I enjoyed how the writing changed.
Yeah.
Through the sections whenever he was,
when it was from Rachel's perspective,
the whole thing, just the way things were said, and yes, exactly.
Her syntax, her way of speaking. Yeah, I enjoyed that too. Actually, it's very much.
It wasn't hugely dramatic, but they're just those things. It's like, what did he just? What? How did that get described? Okay, that's the 5-year-old talking or whatever it is.
The way she speaks, she won't say really nice. She'll say real nice.
Exactly.
And then when she's not speaking, that happens in the text and the prose, and it fits because it's her perspective.
Exactly.
And I did enjoy that too. Yeah, the stylistic change.
Yeah, and it does even with the mud people when Kaylin was translating a lot for Richard. they had everything italicized in the book, so you knew it was a translated thing. It wasn't an obvious, straight person-to-person kind of thing. And that, I found that what happened was the voice of the character changed to like almost like a gloomy, like, no, you're going to do this, like almost ominous. And the voices of the characters actually changed a lot for me. Like Zed actually ended up sounding like, and if I could remember his goddamn name, Diablo 2, if any of you ever played it, it's the guy who's stay a while and listen. And the first time that he comes in and Richard is talking to him, that was the voice I had in my mind. And then it changes as I go through, and that's no longer the voice.
The voice I had in my mind for Zed was Merlin from from Disney's Sword in the Stone. That's the voice I had for Zed in my head. There were some really profound moments that happened in simple sentences in this book. One of the ones that struck me most was when Callan said to Richard, "No matter how little you think it was enough." And it's something that I think a lot of us suffer from is paralysis when it comes to problems that we face, that we see other people facing. You think, well, I can't do anything big and massive and heroic, so why do anything at all? It's even the littlest things count, and even the littlest thing can be enough. You just have to do it. And I thought it jumped out at me as something incredibly profound for something so simply said.
Exactly. Well, and that was the thing, is when I first read this, it was quite a few years ago, and just the entire philosophy of the series was very thought-provoking and very inspiring to just, like, okay, I don't have a sword, that's fine. But, the power that each person has as an individual to make a difference.
Yeah.
And even in the further books, like, there's other things that he'll get into in the later books that, are expounding upon that more. Just don't sit there. Just do what you can.
Just do what you can.
Do what you can.
It might not seem like enough, but it might not seem like a lot, but it's enough.
And the whole teaching them to make the simple. It's a simple philosophy. We've heard it before, but it's just from a different approach. Teach them how to make the bricks. Not just do it for them.
Just do it for them. Yeah.
That was great.
I really like books that make you think like that.
I also liked the portion where I forget who was talking, but one of them was talking about perspective. People who are evil, from their perspective, does not make them evil. They don't see it as an evil
They see what they're doing as right
it's
and true.
One of those moments.
Yeah, which is, I think we pointed it out when we were watching or reviewing The Golden Child, where evil referred to itself as evil. It was just the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard, because evil doesn't know it's evil. They think they're doing a good turn by whatever it is they're doing. Even though the rest of the world was like, no, stop! Stop it!
I also really love the reactions in this story. Like with Kaylin and Richard, there was the point where he goes and he's like, oh, would you like to have some food? And she's like, yes, I would love some. And he grabs an apple and gives it to her. She's like, why would you do that? Like, bam, right in your face. And you're like, what the hell just happened? And it's moments like that totally throw you off, that you're just like paying attention again. Like, what just, this, but it's an apple.
But it's part of that story. It's part of the entire universe.
And the hair thing too is really neat.
Exactly.
And how women of high status would grow their hair long, and women of short status would have it cut short. in my peripheral vision, because you're worth it.
Yes, that was exactly what I was thinking. Cover squirrel. There we go. I can't help laugh at that picture. Another moment that I really loved, again, was that food scene where he was like, what type of cheese would you like? And she's like, oh, just any of them. And he's like, okay. And he brings her some cheese, and she drops it. And he's like, why would you do that? And she's like, because I wanted to test their reaction across the room. And I'm like, no, this is something that I really love.
I love that Callan? I'm going to say Callan.
Callan.
Because she is not described as petite. or dainty. She's tall, and she can clearly take care of herself, which means she's not like this frail little thing.
Yeah.
She is smart.
Yes.
She's really clever. I very much appreciate that. And the typical extremely beautiful above most other things thing, it didn't grate on me as much as it would have because she was not petite and dainty, and because she was fiercely intelligent and very independent and a force to be reckoned with, and I really appreciate that about female characters.
Yes, exactly.
And I mean, the two of them combined, her and Richard, are both ridiculously perceptive.
Yeah.
Ridiculously, and I'm like, I love these characters so much because they're just like, no, I'm doing this because of, and go off into this little tangent that I'm like, yes, this is amazing, I love it.
With Richard too, the cynical part of me was like, oh, no guy is this good. There's just no way. And then actually I started thinking about the guy friends I do have, and I'm like, oh wait, no, actually, yeah.
Well, and as much as it was, yes, this is a natural gift of his to be this way, he also had training from childhood. Subtle, intricate training that he didn't even know he was being given necessarily. And it taught him how to think and to problem solve and to, just be a functioning human being as opposed to an idiot. So
and he's also a genuinely wonderful person.
Yes.
Like the source of his power is not so much his righteous anger, as you find out, spoiler alert, later in the book, is it's his capacity for love.
And it's the balance between the two.
It's the balance between the two. And it's just so well done, honestly. I have nothing bad to say about this book, really. Well, there are obviously Nazi overturns, but you didn't pick that up? All the henchmen were giant Aryan people.
Yeah, true enough, yes. Yeah. But to me, that's just a little bit of cliche thrown in for good measure.
But, well, yeah. It was cliche.
I can kind of ignore cliches,
really?
See for what it is.
Well,
whatever.
It depends on the cliche. Sometimes it really grates on me. I'm just like, oh.
But
do you like
they got
the
theirs in the
cliches?
end, so
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
In their place, and just they went Disney for me for them. So.
As Disney is
the running theme.
Yeah, sorry, that's
I'd like to see Disney with torture and rape. Let's do that.
Oh god.
Challenge Disney, challenge. Somebody at the studio is going, challenge accepted.
Yes.
There were some great other moments too about when they were describing the being on staff in the crypt of Dark and Ralph's father, whereas being a member of the crypt staff was an honor by law.
Right. Exactly.
And I was just by law. Which is, nobody wants it, but it was an honor.
That's right. And that one rose petal.
Yeah, that one rose petal that somebody lost their head over quite literally.
Yeah.
Well, figuratively and literally. Ral went berserk and then somebody lost their head.
Yeah. And you're just sitting there thinking of that moment of having that much power and being so, obviously irrationally unstable with this power that, this is, and I just asked them to take care of my father's crypt. Yeah. That's all I asked
them. Do you think they could do that? Yeah. Just that one simple task?
They had one job.
Dude, get a therapist.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, of course, you just think about all the people out there with that kind of power, but maybe they aren't chopping off people's heads,
but they're
abusing
irrational.
that. Because they think they're right.
Yeah.
They think, that they're not being unreasonable.
When in fact, they are being.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I really liked about Richard's power in particular is that killing hurts. And if they're not just talking about the spiritual, or I guess the heart hurt that comes with killing, with Richard's power it actually becomes an actual physical pain.
Yeah.
I liked that idea a lot.
And again, to me, there's so much of an ongoing theme of balance throughout the book, which was what hit me the first time I read it, was, wow, there has to be balance in the world.
Yeah.
And that does mean negative.
Yes.
But it's, dark and negative and those things because, it's going to balance things out. But
it's that whole idea you don't know what good is unless
Yes.
you've experienced it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was there's so many themes in this book, my god.
That's why it's so thick.
Yeah. Seriously. And if you don't believe us, it's right here.
Yeah, it's quite the tome, but not a single page in that is wasted.
Yes.
It's all
Yeah.
even if maybe slightly unnecessary to the story, although I don't know that maybe the scene with Shar, which made me cry, by the way.
Oh no, I love the show.
But again, that did
sad.
set the tone for the pain involved and the extremity of that experience. So it was still there.
It's a huge book. None of it is wasted, and that's really good.
Yeah.
So the only complaints I had really was that Michael was very obviously a villain, even though it was supposed to be sort of a twist at the end. And I knew who Zed was almost right away.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Painfully obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew Zed. I knew that it was very likely that Richard was going to end up being the Seeker, the forefront of the
Well, he
story.
kind of gave it away before you even knew what a Seeker was.
Yeah.
But still, the family relations that gets exposed. That was just a nice kind of tying of a bow there.
Yeah, right at
just
the end.
Pulling it together.
Yes.
and,
Spoiler alert.
yeah. Well, we're not telling her specifics.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. There's family drama.
The book, obviously. I mean, you don't not have drama with one starting off going, I'm gonna throw this at my brother and he has no idea I'm gonna do this, and then the brother go off and do all these epic adventures, and then just the fact that both of the parents are murdered horrifically, it's obviously going to have a huge effect. So
What wasn't obvious though at first was Cullen and her motives. When I was so suspicious of her when I first
Oh, really?
when I was first reading the book, and I really liked that. I liked not knowing which side she was on and why she was being hunted.
Yeah.
And it made me want to read more about her. I like that a lot.
And Brophy.
Oh, Brophy.
What a bittersweet little side story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, tying things together, part of the larger universe, just bringing it all together.
Yeah, and what I like is it wraps everything up in the story really well,
Yes.
but then leaves room for way more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And I have to say that I love the name of the book that Richard was made to memorize. The Book of
Yes.
Countless Shadows.
Yes.
That is a fantastic
Yes.
name for some sort of mystic text.
Yeah.
Well done, well
Yes.
done. I appreciate.
And now I know why. It was called the Book of Countless
Countless
Shadows.
Shadows, yeah, right at the end.
I'm still
Yeah, we'll get there. You'll get there.
I'm still working through that. Because I do
You'll get
think
there.
about it, I'm like, there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
I really liked, I'm just going to interject, I really liked the uniqueness of Kalan's power. I don't think I've ever seen that before in fantasy, and I thought that was a very interesting, it was an interesting power to, and the way it was exercised.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a very,
Yeah.
She's a brilliant character.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love her so much. Maybe one day I'll cosplay as her. It'd be a really obscure
That was
reference.
you-
Everybody's like, are you supposed to be Eowyn? No.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Well, yeah, because it is that whole white dress.
The white dress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're running low on time. Out of 5.
Oh, 5.
5?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with 4.5 because I'm not done yet.
Actually, 4.5 for me too. The only reason why is because there is a depth of world that I really appreciate when I'm reading fantasy that this didn't quite have, that other books have done much better. Mars and Book of the Fallen series. But it was still a fantastic read, and I am definitely adding this to my library as soon as I get another bookshelf.
Agreed.
Because
I'm with her on this
I
one.
have stacks of books all over the floor because my shelves are full. As soon as I have room, I am adding this book to my personal library. All right, who wants to pick the next one? Freedom. Neverwhere.
Ah,
By Neil
nice.
Gaiman.
Oh.
So we know who's going to be on that panel.
Well, Jasmine, hopefully. She's just finished reading
That's
it.
what I was
Well,
talking about.
I just finished listening to it about a month ago. So.
Oh yeah? Oh sweet.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. No, it's still in the house.
So you
It's
don't
still...
need bookcases if you get audio.
Yeah, but I don't like audiobooks. I like holding the thing and turning
Yes,
the pages.
it's the
You can hold your
Smell
iPhone
it,
you
and smell it.
Walk through
no,
the
the
countryside
iPhone is
and
not-
listen to a story being
You can-
told to
No,
you.
because then I
It's
can't
lovely.
concentrate on the story.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I have to
Multitasking
be
is a
sucked
skill.
into.
Yeah, it is. It's, I don't have it. I'm mildly autistic in that I focus on one thing
okay.
and then that's it. All right. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or comments or you want to join in the discussion about this book, please leave something in the comments. If you know the name of the character from Diablo 2 that Sue was talking about, please leave it in the comments.
I'll figure it out by the time I get home.
Yeah. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. Thanks. Bye.